Hi everyone, I just want to take a few minutes to walk you through what's going on in the Medicare world right now and what that means for your coverage as we head into 2026. I know that nobody likes to hear about rising costs or reduced benefits, but I believe in being upfront with you so you're not caught off guard. Medicare is changing, and both Supplement and Medicare Advantage carriers are under a lot of financial pressure. And my goal here is to explain why this is happening and what we can do together to make sure you're still protected. Let's start with Medicare Supplement plans. Texas recently passed House Bill 2516, which now requires supplement carriers to cover people under the age of 65 who have end-stage renal disease or ALS Lou Gehrig's disease. And historically, these conditions are extremely expensive to insure. Under the new law, carriers can charge up to twice the normal premium, but even that amount does not come close to even covering the true cost of care for those conditions. So what does that mean for you? Well, carriers are now spreading these costs across the entire pool of policyholders. And that means we're expecting significant premium increases in the near future for all supplement clients. Some companies are even pulling out of the supplement market in Texas completely. If your company is one of those, I will be letting you know. But just so you know, it's pretty precarious in the Medicare supplement world for 2026. Now, if your premiums become too high, one option is to shop other carriers or even look at different supplement plans. But here's the catch. In most cases, you would need to pass medical underwriting to qualify. That means the insurance company is going to ask you health questions and not everyone will be approved. So for some of you, underwriting simply won't be an option. If you've ever considered switching to a Medicare Advantage plan, the annual enrollment period is the time to explore that. You don't have to make a change, but if rising premiums and underwriting hurdles become an issue, we can at least look at Advantage plans together. Now, let's talk about prescription drug coverage. In 2025, the Inflation Reduction Act gave us something we've never had before, a real maximum out-of-pocket cap for prescription drugs. That's a tremendous benefit for beneficiaries, for you guys, and I'm glad you finally have that protection. But here's the flip side. Insurance carriers are now footing much more of the bill for prescriptions than they used to. And in order to balance these costs, we're already seeing premiums and deductibles rising on standalone prescription drug plans. Medicare Advantage carriers are feeling it too because most of their plans include prescription drug coverage as well. So even though this law is a win for you in one way, it's putting a lot of financial stress on the carriers, and that shows up in higher cost and trimmed benefits. For those of you on Medicare Advantage plans, which is the majority of my clients, the first one is star ratings. Medicare rates all of the plans based upon their performance using star ratings. Medicare has recently made the star rating system stricter, and these ratings directly impact how much money the plans receive from Medicare. Lower ratings equal less funding, which makes it harder for carriers to keep offering the extras we've all gotten used to. Things like dental, vision, hearing, gym memberships, and over-the-counter benefits. Advantage plans are facing the same rising drug costs from the Inflation Reduction Act as the standalone prescription drug plans as well. So what I was just explaining with those drug plans, Medicare Advantage, same thing, same effects. Utilization. So we're still seeing higher than expected healthcare utilization since COVID. Many thought those levels of usage would drop back down, but they haven't. People are using their healthcare more, and that drives up costs for the insurance carriers. Each year, CMS, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, that's the government entity that regulates Medicare, they set the payment rates for Medicare Advantage plans. Recently, those increases have been much smaller than expected, or in some cases, cut back. That means carriers are receiving less money from Medicare, leaving fewer dollars to fund member benefits. Medicare has also tightened the rules around risk adjustment coding. Plans used to be reimbursed more for accurately documenting chronic conditions, but stricter audits and reduced payments mean less revenue overall. And on top of all of that, hospitals and doctor groups are charging more because of inflation and staffing costs. When plans have to pay providers more, there's less money left over for member extras. Put all of these things together: lower reimbursements, higher drug costs, tighter rules, more provider expenses, and you can see why benefits in 2026 may not look quite as rich as 2025. Now, I don't want this to all sound negative. Remember, every year we take things 1 year at a time. You're never stuck and you always have choices. Starting this year at Bonnecamp Senior Solutions, we now recommend umbrella packages in addition to your Medicare plan. These are extra policies that help cover the gaps Medicare leaves behind. And let me give you a few examples of those. The first one is a hospital indemnity plan. So most of my clients are on Medicare Advantage plans, and you have co-payments on those plans for your inpatient hospital stays, for things like MRIs, outpatient surgeries, ambulance co-payments. And these hospital indemnity plans can help you pay for those kinds of services. So for example, if your Medicare Advantage plan charges you $400 per day copayment in the hospital, let's say for days 1 through 7, you can purchase a $400 per day hospital indemnity plan, and that plan will pay you back the $400 that you're responsible for. So this means you're not reaching into your own pocket to pay those out-of-pocket costs. We're also recommending critical illness plans for cancer, heart attacks, and strokes. These plans provide a lump sum payment if you're diagnosed with one of those conditions. For example, if you were to buy a $15,000 cancer policy and you were diagnosed with cancer, you would get a lump sum, you would get a check for $15,000 that you could choose to use however you wanted, whether it's to pay for your treatment costs, travel, or even everyday bills while you recover. We also have short-term home health care plans. Medicare doesn't cover a lot of skilled care in your home, and what it does cover, you've got to meet very strict parameters and guidelines. You can buy these short-term home health care plans that are going to help step in and cover the costs that you need at home, especially for things that maybe Medicare doesn't cover. And then we also have recovery care plans. So if you need skilled care in a facility after a hospital stay, recovery care helps pay for these costs so you're not left with large bills. These are real practical tools that can protect your wallet when Medicare or your Advantage plan falls short. And as base plan benefits shrink, these umbrella coverages become more and more valuable. So to recap, Medicare supplements are facing higher premiums because of Texas House Bill 2516. And while we can look at other carriers, medical underwriting is required and not everyone will qualify. Prescription drug coverage is being reshaped by the Inflation Reduction Act, which are great protections for you, but more cost pressures on the insurance carriers. Medicare Advantage plans are squeezed by stricter star ratings, smaller CMS funding increases, tighter risk adjustment rules, rising provider costs, and ongoing high utilization. So benefits in 2026 may not look as rich as they do now, but you're not navigating this alone. We'll be here to walk you through your annual notice of change letters, to compare your options during the annual enrollment, and to make sure you've got the right umbrella package protections in place. So here are your next steps. First, keep an eye on your mailbox in September. The insurance carriers will be sending your annual notice of changes letter to let you know what the changes to your plan will be in 2026. Second, keep an eye on your email in the first week of October. I will be sending you more information on your plan and your options for next year. And just a quick reminder, I'm not allowed to discuss any plan options for 2026 before October 1st. So if you call me in September to talk about it, I'm going to tell you we're going to have to reschedule until after October 1st. So just keep that in mind. So to wrap it up, change is constant in Medicare. This is my 14th annual enrollment period, and the one thing I have learned is that everything changes pretty much every year. So the good news is you always have choices, and you always have us to help you find the plan that fits your health and your budget needs. So thank you for watching, and as always, don't hesitate to reach out with questions or to schedule a review. We'll talk to you soon.